afternoon, friends. This is my new friend, Jodi Roberts. Please welcome her to Dozen Cats. Yay.
Thank you, Kelly. Okay, I've got you on my YouTube too.
Yay.
In two places.
I'm in two places at once, friends. Who knew it was possible? So, welcome everyone to Sunday Connections. Thank you for being here. I'm going to stick Jodi's link in the chat. If you're not familiar with Jodi and what she does on her channel, she's here to talk about that. And can I just tell you, friends, I mean, amazing is really what I'm going to say. And that pretty much sums up how I feel about Jodi. I have wanted her to come to my channel for the longest time and finally found, in my opinion, the right sort of moment for her to come and show us her amazing skills. I don't know what else to call them, and gifts. And so here she is. Welcome, my friend.
Everybody.
Thank you. That's so sweet. I love your cup. That's so cute.
I know. It's my I love you cup. Whoops.
I love it.
Now I can't get it in the screen because I'm trying. There we go.
So, welcome everyone who's popping into the chat. Thank you for being here. So, Jodi, when we have a first-time new guest here at Dozen Cats, we like to ask you some icebreaker questions, I call them, to make you feel all warm and fuzzy and super comfortable. So,
okay, I have a question too.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, how many cats do you really have?
3.
Every time I've seen your name in a chat, I envision,
Crazy cat lady.
I saw an image of beautiful purring cats around you. When I see your name,
I love it.
That's the energy that it gives.
I would love to have 12 cats, but I'd probably have to get a divorce. So I settled for 12 paws, 3 bodies, 3 tails. You know how it goes.
I love it.
So, Jodi, our first question for you is, do you have a favorite quote or saying or a favorite poem that you like is sort of like a go-to for you?
Yeah, it's a paraphrase of something Rumi said. And when I encounter people especially teachers, going into my way is the right way, the first thing that comes up is it's a piece of a Rumi poem that says there's hundreds of ways to kneel and kiss the ground, which was his way of saying there's more than one path back to Creator. So that's the one that runs all the time.
That's beautiful. All right. Second question is, if you could have any career in the world besides your chosen career, what would that be? Even if it was just for like a week or something.
Okay, it would be not crazy Catwoman. I used to live on a ranch with a deer herd.
Oh, wow.
It was great. And I had 37 of them. The matriarch was human raised, so she was, petable. And that experience of being on that ranch gave me the visceral experience of my ideal job, which is to play music for animals and pray my shamanic path out on a ranch. It was 400 acres. And I would come home from traveling, and that's how I would spend my time, with the deer and the sheep and the peahen and the goats and everybody that showed up.
I love
and it was
that.
like being of service through frequency with animals and nature.
Wow.
It was
Well,
fun.
see, now my favorite occupation, if I could choose, one, I want to be the person that names the paint chips. So your answer is way better than mine.
Chip, that's a great one. My mother was an artist, so the names of colors, I mean, the things I grew up with. So yeah, way beyond the normal colors.
I love it.
Well,
here's the thing. I really I don't know that I want that job, but I want to know how you get that job. What are the qualifications one must have to look up and say, Whisper White, for example, and they're like, yes, that's it. Like, I want to know where does one apply?
Where's it? I mean, my sense is a combination of creativity and heart,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
just a combination of the both.
I'm giving you guys way too many clues as to how my little brain works. But anyhow, moving on. Jodi, question number 3.
Mm-hmm.
What does a day off look like for you? Talk us through. What do you do?
Day off. I'm trying to remember. Being self-employed, the illusion is I can take more time off. I don't take very much time off. I'm a hermit. I mean, I'm very much a hermit kind of person, and day off for me would still entail sacred practices, talking to the spirits, going outside and taking pictures. I do a lot of photography as a way to relax. So if like you do, this is your
Yeah.
beautiful picture here. So if I have a day off where I can go out in nature and explore with, I now have 2 cell phones that take pictures,
Nice.
iPhone and Samsung. I just go take pictures. That's very relaxing.
I love that. Okay, question 4 is a song that makes you want to get up and dance.
Oh my goodness. One that, okay, can I talk about this? Yes, I can. There is a drummer by the name of Brent Lewis that I met the music of about 36 years ago.
Wow.
And yeah, he's great. And he has a song, I don't even know the name, I think it's Dinner at Sagebrush, on an album called Drum Sex. And this is drumming, African drumming, and didgeridoo. And I use that one to dance. It's just
Beautiful.
outrageous. It's just such a good
I
song.
love that. All right. Our last question, it's not anything crazy, I promise. Where's your happy place, Jodi?
My happy place is always nature.
Love it.
Yeah.
Me too.
And if I have to be inside, and this is funny because I've had people like laugh at me about the living room I'm sitting in. I have the living room is the gong room. I have a little baby side room with the actual furniture in it, and I have one recliner chair, heated rock pads, my 2 little tables that are all on wheels and I can move them. And this is where I sit when nobody's here. I do a lot of sessions from this location because I feel like the Hathor part of me gets plugged into its docking bay and I'm with my gongs and my spirits and it's like, okay, here's where I am.
I
So
love
there's
it.
an indoor and an outdoor place.
I love that. So, let's say hi to a few people that are in the chat here, just real quick. Pierrette White is here. Teresa is here. Anna Banana is here. Thank you so much for joining us on your Sunday. Cat Mama Meow is in the house. Teresa K. Tack is also here. We have 2 Teresas. Allie from Heart and Soul Connected is in the house. Thank you, Allie, for being here. Who else is here? Ivana Intuitive is here. Linda Kelser is here. So many lovely people popping in.
I know. Anna.
Yeah, Anna Banana's in the house.
That's a great name.
So, friends, when I was thinking about having Jodi on, and we just briefly discussed this backstage, I said to Jodi that I first heard about Jodi through Adrienne from Red Lentil Healing. And I was saying how, I think Adrienne is just, amazing. Like, she's just awesome. If I could have her here every week, I would, but she might get a little sick of me. Let's be real. So I was talking about telling Jodi that how I met Adrienne, and how I met Adrienne was when I was on with Allie at Heart and Soul Connected telling my story, and Adrienne was in the chat before I had a channel, and in that moment on that show, I was like, yes, I'm going to start a channel. And Adrienne said she would support me. She would come to my channel. And she was my very first guest ever. And I think that she is awesome. I think that she is articulate, and she is gifted beyond measure. She's got a sassy attitude, and I love that. And she's funny, so funny. She is, like, in my opinion, like the perfectly sort of well-rounded individual. You know what I mean? She has like so many wonderful points in so many different areas. And I was saying to Jodi that she's coming next week to do some chakra readings. So I'm very excited about that. But we were talking about that's how I found Jodi.
Mm-hmm.
And so Jodi said we should talk about Adrian for just a brief moment. So
got to talk about Adrian.
Yeah.
So I met Adrian when we both were in Texas in the DFW area, and she came into shamanic trainings I had and sound healing. And Adrian and I share a little bit of an addiction to eating popcorn together, which we are not able to do.
A little bit.
She'd walk in with these giant bags of popcorn.
Nice.
So that's how I met her. And she moved to Washington, D.C. And it was interesting because I was watching some of the tarot readers who were doing political tarot. And I think I had found Johnny by then. And I'm like, Adrian, you got to go watch this dude.
Right.
And, and God, that feels like such a long time ago. And then I remember one day I get a text from Adrian like, hey, Johnny and I want you to come on our channel. We're going to do a live stream. What do you think? Well, what I thought was about 5 minutes of hyperventilating, freaking out, going, there's no way in hell I'm getting on anybody's channel. That hermit thing. And,
yeah.
And my guides are like, oh, yeah, you're going. Erase. So 5 minutes later, I texted her and said yes. And, I'd had the channel forever. I hadn't done anything with it. And, that was the instigation prod to actually get on here and talk about stuff, and
I love that.
I know. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you, Adrian.
Yes, thank you, Adrian. I mean, thank you, Ali, and thank you, Adrian. Yeah. So Jodi sent me some information, and let's just say, I'm not to embarrass you, I hope. I mean, oh my God, you guys. I mean, it's like she's 198 years old from her bio, and all the experiences that you have had and the things that you have done. I mean, my goodness, do you have 19 arms and legs? Like, it's crazy what you've accomplished over your life. My God, it's amazing, incredible. I want to speak about this one particular thing that popped. I mean, there was many things that popped out, but this one particular thing that popped out, I want Jodi to sort of speak to us about, if you don't mind. So Jodi was the first sound healing meditation specialist for the military at Fort Hood Army Warrior Combat Stress Reset Program. And is it in Killeen? Is that how you pronounce it?
Killeen, Texas.
In Killeen, Texas. I mean, what?
Okay.
That's fascinating.
At one point in time, I lived right outside of Killeen. And I moved around Texas a lot and traveled around Texas a lot. There's a kitty. Hi, beautiful.
This is Quincy coming to check you out.
I love it. The tail goes across.
Yeah.
And there was a woman in that town who had been attempting to put together a program for a really long time. And I was coming in and out of the area at the time. And there was another woman who did crystal bowls. I did basically antique Tibetan bowls. That was it at that time. I had one gong. And I got to do the sound healing presentation to the guys, the hospital leader and all the people in charge, because this was a program not for retired veterans. It was a program for active duty Army with PTSD.
Wow.
And, and there was like Reiki and, different modalities, and we'd come in one day a week. And the presentation that I did, I'm sitting on the floor, playing my bowls like I used to do all the time. And there's a sea of guys in green with Army boots on. And the head of the hospital, when we were done, looks at me, and I read energy like some people read books, and he's just sort of like, I don't know how to say this without pissing her off. And he just, he's like, okay, this is really cool, but we're military.
Right.
That was what he said. And I looked at him and I said, and I looked at everybody in the room and I said, if you can forgive me for being born a Marine, and then blah, I don't even remember what came out of my mouth, but it was all military speak. And they all were like, oh, thank God she understands.
Right.
My dad by then was on the other side. He had been in Vietnam twice. He had major PTSD, untreated at the time. So I got to be the first one. And I actually had moved to Dallas by then. So I was driving from Dallas to Killeen like 5 hours once a week to do this. And it was one of the most amazingly healing experiences for me as the daughter of a PTSD veteran, to be able to work with people that were in, this was Iraq and Afghanistan. And,
Right.
My dad's day, if you went overseas twice, it was a big deal. And these guys were over 3, 4, or 5 times. And it was voluntary to do the program. It was open to anybody. And usually it was the men that came in to receive the transformation. And, when you have that level of trauma, you don't sleep. I mean, that's, coming from that history myself, you just don't sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember days where a certain person would fall asleep in the sound bath and snore, and they'd all be looking at me like, are you going to get mad at this? And I'm like, he's the bass note. He's
Right.
asleep.
Yeah. We're incorporating him into this set. Thank you.
And the other thing, so it was very healing for all of us. The other thing that I learned, and for anybody who plays gongs in the public, this is really important. I learned it from one guy in this program and a woman who was in a normal sound bath who had been in London when bombs were dropping in World War II. Gongs can sound like artillery fire. And, I brought one in once and had somebody trigger and, knew how to work them down and play bowls to calm them down. And the next time I came back, I didn't bring the gongs. And he's like, where is it? And I'm like, after watching you last time.
Right.
And, and the woman had the same response. So the instruments that we play, if we're playing big gongs, I have to be mindful of who's in the room and what history they have. Because there's sound traumas.
Yeah. My grandmother used to, for so many years after my grandfather passed, he was hooked up to all kinds of machines. And every time her telephone rang, she would literally jump.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
And I mean, then everyone would jump and react in the same way because it would startle you that she was reacting that way.
Right.
So there are sounds that we associate with trauma. So that would be interesting to navigate. Now, coming from a person who has anxiety panic disorder, I just want to say to you about that trigger thing. Obviously, what you were trying to do, the healing that you were trying to put out, they received it because they asked you where are they this time, right? So they got it, even though they might have been triggered, they got it. And I mean, that is a testament to to the message that you're able to put out using the gongs and the bowls. It's beautiful. I just love it. I told Jodi that I went on to Google today, and that I do that. If I don't have a good knowledge of what we're talking about, I try to do a little bit of research to help myself out. Sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it does. This is what I got from the internet, and I think that this is fascinating. And so I want to sort of say this bit, and I'm going to hand it over to Jodi and let her sort of if you guys have any questions, throw them up in the chat, and we'll see if Jodi can answer any of your questions. So this is what I found on the internet. When we listen to music with a strong beat, our brain waves can be stimulated. Faster beats encourage more concentrated and alert thinking, while slower beats are associated with relaxed and meditative sort of states. Listening to music has a tendency to improve your state of mind, and it can help keep anxiety and depression at bay, i.e., the PTSD that you were dealing with in that naval base, right? Now, we often talk about here about lifting our vibration and using music as a means of sort of increasing your joy factor in sort of a quick sort of way. Like if you're feeling down, turn on the stereo, dance around the living room for a couple of minutes, and you start to like feel like you've picked yourself up, or singing out loud for, you know, as you're driving the car kind of thing. But obviously there's a lot more to it than that. And that is what I would like you to sort of speak to, if you can explain to us how it is that the musical frequencies, or the vibration of the music, can sort of elevate us. Like, how does that all sort of work? If that
I'm looking at questions as you're talking. Yeah. Okay. First of all, one of the oddities of me in sound healing is I was trained in shamanic practices for 15 years before I touched a bowl. I mean, I had tuning forks and crystals and drums, but the stewardship of antique Tibetan bowls, because they come with mouthy monks, I can hear the spirits in these handmade things. One of the most important parts about doing any work with anybody is to be able to set intentions for the highest good and keep the safety in the container. That's number one. That's the most important thing. And, you know, when I think I was doing my second concert in Denver, and I have never been trained as a musician. Everybody's on the, you know, we're always on the floor. Everybody's on the floor asleep, and I'm having a chat with the guides, and I'm like, why did you pick me?
Right.
Why did you pick me? I can't speak music terminology.
Right.
I can't, you know, I didn't know bowls had notes. You know, God knows what a hertz frequency was. I didn't know anything about this. All I knew is I bought 20 bowls and I was supposed to play them.
Right.
And when I asked that question of why they wanted me to do, because believe me, it was not something I would have invented. Why me? And what the guide said, and I work with a lot of Hathors, you know, and they're like higher dimensional frequency beings. And what they said was, you've been trained as a shaman for 15 years before we asked you to do this. I said, yeah. And what that means is we can come through your body and use it for this, and we're the ones playing. And I'm like, well, that's easy. And they're like, not for most humans.
It's true. It's
okay.
True.
And I'm playing the bowls, you know, with one hand. I'm right-handed because that's the way I was taught. And what they said to me that day was, you have two of those things called hands. Pick up a stick in both of them and play that way. And they taught me how to play the music, play the bowls. Hathors have a way of being with music that they call weaving. So we're weaving layers of frequencies. And I pray and I play, and playing music is a hear, feel experience. And because of the training in the Native American world and the shamanic world and the star person world, I am always in a ceremonial place. You know, you got to be in the ceremonial place when you're doing this.
Right.
So I'm always in that place when I'm playing. And my favorite prayer when I'm playing is the Ho'oponopono prayer. I love you. I apologize. Please forgive me. Thank you. Let me broadcast that. And I am aware that broadcasting frequencies into the quantum field is my number one job. It also comes out to humans.
I
The
just
way,
I want to pop up on the screen here. Genealogy Junkie says the only musical thing I can play is the radio.
hey, before I got my first 20 bowls, yeah, I was really skilled at finding really good music to do
Yeah.
workshops to and dancing to.
Uh, Silver Star Priestess says you are giving me chills. This is what I do with my
Do it in
singing bowls, and you answered, "Why me?"
Exactly. We know how to channel the energy through.
Yeah.
Um,
Here's a question for you, Jodi.
yeah,
Not to like throw you off, but
no, I saw that.
Anna says, what key is best to start working on self-alignment, especially when you are unsure if you have specific triggers?
Okay, what I would do personally, which I do with clients, I would start with the chakra notes. And okay, I'm sitting here without my chakra drum. Okay. Well, let me flip. Okay, let me go slide my little tripod over to the other side of the room. Hang on.
Well, while Jody's doing that, I'll just Sue Toffee is here. She says, I love the Ho'oponopono player. And Genealogy Junkie, this is awesome. She said, this is so perfect. I was going through a grumpy crisis, another technology hates me moment, and searched to see who was on that I could get some good energy from. And here you are.
Here we are. Okay, now for me to play music, I have to change the sound and we are going to echo, but I'll chat this for a minute to give some demos here. Settings, we want the other camera. We want that off. We want, okay, I can't get on. Okay, let's see if this works. Okay, so if I'm working with somebody and I want to find out where the sensitivities are, the first gong I'm going to touch is Mother Earth. I'm probably, my head's cut off, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I do that all the time. Fucking body. I go for the Mother Earth gong. Is that translating at all? Can you guys hear it? Okay. So Mother Earth as a frequency is the note of C sharp. The root chakra is C. And she just happens to be a very big, growly kind of gong that most people do not trigger by unless I get wailing on her and she starts squealing, which she can do. So this is where I would start. The other place I start is with heart math set to music. And heart math is the heart chakra note, which is F, and the crown note, which is B. And it's always an ish when it comes to instruments. So it's like, F sharpish in B or B flat in F. And going in through your heart center. Okay, heart chakra. Going in through this center and breathing, which you all can do. And if you breathe gratitude into your heart, you actually activate heart cells. And ironically, when the program that I was part of at the military base closed down, what took it over was heart math, which is where this came from.
Wow.
Yeah, well, it's more effective. They didn't have to bring in 10 people. They brought in these brought in techniques. So breathe into your heart and breathe gratitude into the heart center. And then take this frequency and breathe it up to your head, to your brain. And again, I'm playing really big crystal bowls. I'm not singing them. Singing a crystal bowl can trigger people. I know a lot of people who don't like the sound of rimming a bowl, so I tend to use big Tibetan bowl strikers to keep the note in a deeper octave. And when you breathe up into your brain, the heart cells are actually more powerful than the brain cells. Our brain is the part that always has the virus, like a computer. So we breathe heart to head. come into a state of coherence, which on the Hertz scale is 0.1 hertz. Mother Earth, the planet, her frequency is 0.1 hertz. So as far as a frequency that I would start with, it's going to be this.
Beautiful.
And then working up more chakras. Grandfather's son, that's this one right here. He's usually the same note as this bowl. And he has more of a squeal in him. Get this correct stick. So you can hear it going off in a squeal. With the rumble. I like the big gongs because they're really deep octaves, which for me is both grounding and expanding at the same time. And then another note, I know you can't see this gong, but I'm going to play it here. Over here in this corner.
Friends, can I just tell you that when Jodi tuned in, she gave me a little scan of the room and it was like, oh my God.
There's 10 gongs in here. Over here I have the Chiron gong. And Chiron has been traditionally called the wounded healer. And on New Year's Day, when I did my ceremony that I do every year for 30 years, when I got to the point of playing him, he made an announcement. And he basically said, I am no longer to be called the wounded healer. I am not wounded. I am the transformer. So,
beautiful.
Okay, you know. And what I have always found interesting about this gong is Chiron's note is E flat or D sharp. And in the chakra system, this is right here in the belly button. And it is a power center for martial arts. And I always wondered why Chiron was a power center, but I like paradox. So I tend to stick with gongs that are deeper in resonance.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
You know, as far as a frequency, I mean, I work with, okay, hang on, I gotta figure out how to do this. Come over here, go over here, come over to the front camera, change the audio. Okay, here we go.
And we're back.
You know, I mean, I've done concerts and healing work with Tibetan bowls for something like 21 years now, and gongs came in a couple years after that. And anything can trigger somebody. You know, there's no, oh God, that one will always be safe kind of thing. I tend to play my gongs differently than I was taught.
Okay.
Because back in the day when I first heard gong players, they were in this mode of beat the crap out of the gong as hard as you can and make it really loud. And
right. Yeah, and
know,
you see your gong playing seems very I almost want to say like methodical. It's almost like watching the tide come in and go back out again, the way that you do it.
I'm trying to where do I get my gongs? Okay, hang on, we're gonna have to walk around the room again. Okay.
Okay, yeah, you can do that. Yeah, do it that way.
Okay, the two in the back, that one, and the one behind the Paiste, they're from Grotta Sonora in Italy. Those guys were handmade in a cave. And which is really Paistes. I've gotten Paistes. I bought Mother Earth. I bought from my bowl supplier when he was alive. Gongs Unlimited. I got the Sun Gong. Where did I get Chiron? I think I got Chiron from them too. There's one that's made out of a mashed up Tibetan bowls that I got from a guy in Britain.
Right.
And then I got the Chinese gongs. Here we go. There's Thunder, who is Archangel Michael's energy. I bought him from a friend who used to have a percussion shop in Texas, and it no longer is in business. Start Googling. the big gong players, the big gong sellers are online. Gongs
Excellent.
Unlimited always has the sound files, and there's a bunch of different brands I don't have yet. Thank God the house is so small, I won't have them.
Right, right.
Anymore.
So,
But
so Jodi, you know what I would, so Jodi does, well, you offer different services to people, and I would love it if you could just briefly sort of explain, like we can get a reading from you, what we would call a reading. What would a like if me, someone with anxiety panic disorder, decided that I'm going to reach out to you, what type of reading could you give me that may help in my healing journey or possibly my spiritual journey, or
okay.
both?
I do. I mean, I have a lot of different. I do have a lot of different modalities,
Yes.
and the shamanic sound sessions are based on whatever your intention is, because that's always the driving force.
Right.
And I have sitting here a couple of Tibetan bowls, head and heart. I start with a reading through my instruments. I can use my 10 gongs like tarot cards. I can read people's energy with them. Same bowls. Yeah, I worked with somebody the other day where most of her work with me and her intention was asking questions about weird things that was happening, which that's normal for me. So
Yeah.
we did a lot of talking, but I started with the head heart bowls, finished with them so she could hear the shift in frequency from, oh my God, this is stressful, to I've got a little bit more understanding.
Beautiful.
One of the modalities that I'm working with, it's been 6 months with this modality, is voice analysis biofeedback. And I have been working with people that are long-term clients as well as people I don't know. And what we are all discovering, because all of us have been dealing with PTSD for years, is the combination of the instruments, because I always record those frequencies with instruments, and biofeedback is actually taking that fingernail on the chalkboard anxiety, PTSD. We also read it out in the field.
Yeah.
We're all getting breaks in that. It's like going away for the first time.
Yeah.
And what I know about people with anxiety and PTSD, because I am one of those, is we are masters at dealing with it and being highly functional to be able to do what we're doing right now. And to have it go away, it's just like, whoa, wait a minute. And the joke I was telling one of my friends yesterday, about it going away, is I have my father died right before my birthday very many years ago, and that launches all the way through the holidays, and so it's like,
Yep.
holidays suck, dad's gone.
Right.
And this past year was, there are years I don't even, it's no big deal. This past year was a really hard year in missing him.
Right.
So I have a tradition, my anxiety tradition, that
Yeah.
Christmas Day sucks.
Yeah.
I go into depression on Christmas Day because my dad's not here.
Right.
And I'm sitting, we were all iced in. I had friends who brought food over to me before the ice came, and I'm here alone. And I wanted to be alone. I wanted to just be in this house by myself. The sun came out, so I'm in the front room, which is like 1,000 crystals and sunlight. And I'm watching stupid Christmas movies and eating good food. And I'm like sitting there going, okay, it's time to be depressed. And you're like,
Yeah.
where is it? I mean, I could
Where
not.
that moment, that, I mean, when I say this, that beautiful moment when reality kind of walks up and smacks you upside the head and says to you, how come you're not depressed yet? And you're like,
Oh
yeah.
no, I actively tried.
Oh,
Seriously,
see, I've never actively tried, but I know
tried
that
to go.
I psychoanalyze myself into it. Like in the back of my mind, I think I'm doing it, but when I say it out loud, I'm not doing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And I sat there howling with laughter, looking at my phone, which is what I play the frequencies of biofeedback on, going, "Dang, man, you ruined my,
Right, right.
my depression." So that is something I love the modality. I mean, I am this absolute techno nerd. My inner nerd has been having a blast learning this stuff,
Yeah.
and
You're
I'm a,
gonna make. I don't know why I'm getting so emotional that like that's gonna make me cry. Um, I had this. So I started this segment here. I like really like you, and I don't mean to sound like weird about that, but I'm like, you have such a cool energy about you. I feel like I've known you my entire life. It's so weird. Um, but I love it. So the other day I started this new segment here at Dozen Cats, and it's called the Dozen Cats Journal. Like,
Mhm.
it's
I saw that. Yeah.
very creative. Anyways, it was me writing in my journal. What I was writing in my journal was, what I told you that the month is called Matters of the Heart. So what really matters to my heart was what I wrote. And I wrote peace and contentment. It's going to make me cry.
It's okay.
For the last 11 years of my life, since I have been diagnosed with anxiety, panic disorder, and depression, that is all I have ever wanted. And because I lived in the outcome and was, allowing the fear to hijack my life for so many years, I missed the moment when I wasn't not peaceful.
Yeah.
I missed the moment when I wasn't feeling that discontentment. And when I wrote it in my journal, I was like, yep, that's all that matters to my heart is I want that peace to come back and that feeling of contentment. All of a sudden I was like, oh, I have it already. And I missed it because I am so used to saying that, fighting it, like you were saying about that, like this is my moment when everything is supposed to fall apart. I am so used to going through that motion every day that I somehow missed it. What an amazing feeling it was to be like, damn, I already have it. I mean, I was like, the tears were flowing. It was
Yeah.
a beautiful sort of moment. And it wasn't like a realization. It was more like a validation. Do you know what
Yeah,
I mean? And
I
which
do.
felt even more powerful.
I do. There's something that I learned. There was a time I was lay ordained in a Zen order, and the Zen order came after I call them my mouthy ones, my Hathors. I was in Texas, and they announced one day, "You are going back to the mountain." And I'm like, "I'm in Texas, and I've been here for like, there's no mountains here. Um, where am I
Ain't no
going?"
mountain high enough. Sorry,
Yeah,
friends.
mountain high enough. So I went back to California, is where I went to a mountain above Palm Springs called Idlewild because my family was up there. And they wanted me to learn detachment from outcome, to really viscerally get that as a healing practitioner, I didn't do anything except activate a human to take in whatever God power they needed to shift. And not get attached to, oh my God, I have to make a difference. It's like, no, I just have to change the energy.
Right.
And now where was I going with all this? Okay. Now I've completely just left. Okay. It just
We were
went.
talking about attachment to outcome and how because we get so used to doing something or striving to reach a goal that we sort of miss the beauty of the journey and the step-by-step sort of progress. I think that's where we were going.
The Zen order. A lot of what that experience taught me was to pay attention to what's going on in the present moment.
Yeah.
Trauma causes regret in the past, fear of the future. I went and did my first 8-day sit with this organization, came back to the mountain, and had a week long experience of what I called and what I gather is called the choice point.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The choice point is like input comes in. We usually make a rapid fire decision and take an action. And if it's from a place of trauma, it's not functional. And I would have this experience of input coming in, and the choice point was something way outside of space time. It was a very shamanic space. And I could do the whole, well, if I do that normal thing, that will happen. How about 15 other? I would,
Yeah.
so it's very
Yeah.
long.
Hmm.
And it was a really cool experience. And I've always, worked to get back there in my life. And the last 6 months, what I have discovered is the choice points are back to being slow and wide and
Yeah.
vast,
Yeah.
and more of a let's make a real choice rather than just jump into a reaction. And that's been very cool. But that to me is, what the music does. The music lowers stress. The
I
music
mean,
lowers pain, physical
absolutely.
pain.
Yeah.
And I was always the purist that only wanted to play the antiques, and, didn't want to do any of this
Right.
high crap. And I got on a friend's vibroacoustic table about 5 or 6 years ago, and in 20 minutes, all the pain went away. I've got sailboat racing accidents, motorcycle accidents,
Yeah.
my body's a mess. And
Wow.
all the pain went away. And I'm looking at her going, what is it? How do I get one? And so she built me one, the one that I use. And a
Wow.
vibroacoustic table are big bass speakers, four of them mounted under the table. She made two, external ones.
Right.
And there is special music that is played through these speakers. And my favorite I call the thumper. So I'm getting a sonic massage where it goes thump, 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 up and down the table. I don't even like the music to this track. I feel better.
Wow. That's
And that's
amazing.
amazing. And that is what started me in making my own vibroacoustic tracks, which I sell, and making them so they could be played on iPhones or computers or baby speakers, because they can give people the frequencies embedded in the healing music that lower stress, that take pain down, that do all that stuff.
Wow.
When I got the biofeedback voice stuff, that added another layer that I will put into stuff.
Right.
And, and for me, one of my teachers in voice analysis, she looked at my mission statement and she's like, I don't get it. Because my mission statement is I inspire the sacred by creating beauty. And she's just looking at me going, I don't get it.
Right.
So I was attempting to explain it in terms of what we do. And I said, okay, I'll try this one on. I transform dissonance and chaos into harmony.
That's
And
right.
she's like, that's it. I said, yeah, that's all my shamanic and sound work is. Because in a
Beautiful.
state of harmony, I mean, we may find peace, we may find functioning brain waves, we may find a moment of joy, or we may find that we get through a moment of grief with more grace. It can be that too,
Yes. Yeah.
which
And
I think.
don't we all need that, friends? So, real quick, I want to just say I'm going to stick Jodi's link in the chat again. It's gone in there several times, and
Yeah.
some people have said that they've already subscribed to your channel, which is wonderful. Someone asked a question. If you know the answer, when is your next sacred coffee mornings with Jen Lynn?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, and that's
It's on Jen Lynn's channel. Yeah, her teeth are Sacred Mountains in Oregon. Ms. Mims, I almost moved to Ashland, Oregon at one point, and I still sort of kick myself for not doing that.
awesome. Jodi,
Yes.
can you sorry, before we forget. So this is Jodi's channel. I just popped it in the link. If you want a reading from Jodi, go to her channel, her about page. That's where they can find your website. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's on there. Yeah, I do. I have all kinds of different modalities that I do, different prices. I mean, it's all in my website, my Square store people use as a website. It's all on there too. I
Right.
have classes, and I
Oh,
have
thanks, Anna.
that some of them are online, some of them are recorded. And I'm going to start a Patreon page where I actually take people into a Zoom group so we can do some shamanic journey practice with this stuff.
Right.
And I'm post in that Patreon group the once a month hour long gong bath that I always record them.
Beautiful.
Doing that, yeah.
Before we close up the hour, we've got like 10 minutes left. I want to just say a couple of things because Jodi's going to give us like a little sort of I don't even know what you call it, a demonstration, sort of like
I'm gonna play some gongs.
she's gonna beat some gongs. I want to say this. Thank you so very much. This has been outstanding, and I feel like I could talk to you for like another 6 hours. So you're going to have to come back and we will continue this conversation for certain and for sure. That's the first thing I want to say. Second thing, please, everybody, go show Jodi some love. She's fabulous, as you all can tell. And of course, if you want to book a reading with her, Anna has been kind enough to put that link in there so you can find her website. Jodi, what's coming up for you? Now we know that you're going with Jenlyn tomorrow. Are you going anywhere else?
Tomorrow, I've been moving into this place in very much in hermit mode. It's like people walked into my last gong bath last weekend and going, your website says you're still in Texas, and I'm like, oops. I'm catching up.
Right.
I want to start another interview show of my own because
Right.
I love getting to know everybody on here.
Right.
So if you guys, all of you in the chat, if you ever want to be interviewed, just message me. Yeah, we'll get you on here. I love asking questions. So I want to do that. I wanted the Patreon. Adrienne and I have talked a lot about Patreon because I joined hers. That would give me the opportunity in a back door to get on Zoom with people.
Right.
And I mean, I've been teaching shamanism and shamanic journey work for 36 years, and I'm the one that uses these guys as my drums. I use the metal.
Right.
Well, and these are from a shamanic tradition that just happen to be in Nepal.
You're beautiful.
So I've got a lot of stuff I'm launching online as I come back into Wi-Fi. I didn't have it for a while last year, and getting back on the channel. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting. These are all kinds of fun people I've never met on here.
See that?
Yeah.
All right. So there you have it, friends. The update, the who's who and the what's what of what's going on with Jodi. So if you're subscribed to her channel and you make sure that you check off the notification bell, you will know whenever she posts something in her community board or on her channel. So there you go. So make sure you do that and be on the lookout. And Jodi, the floor is yours, my friend. Take it away. Bang your gongs, my friend. Bang your gongs.
Let me change all the sound settings again.
Yes, of course.
Boopity boop, camera, go that way. No, wait.
You're right, Miss Mims.
No, we don't want to do that.
Is also awesome.
Okay.
People are saying thank you, and we really appreciate you sharing, and thank you so much. This is lovely. Hi, everybody who's popped into the chat. Sorry if I didn't say hi to you. Hi, Mama Bear. Hi, JJ Gypsy. Or JJ Gypsy. Gypsy JJ.
Okay. I'm coming over here now.
All right.
Down so I get my head back in the.
I mean, can I just say how colorful your home is? I mean, how beautiful with all those beautiful lights and those shimmering images all around your home. I mean, it must be beautiful.
That is my inner child's contribution. My specialty is inner child work.
I'm going to make Jodi bigger here.
Like twinkle lights, and they get indulged in this house. Okay, let's see if we can do this. So we'll start with heart math again. So I've got two Tibetan bowls that play F and B-ish.
I'm going to mute myself so Jodi, you guys can focus on what Jodi's saying.
Okay. Hand on heart. It's always good to do this kind of breathing. Hand on heart. Just practice taking a deep breath in before I play the bowls. And you're not straining, you're just breathing. Your breath is the original sound healing tool. And you can follow the sound of the bowls deeper into your heart chakra and your actual heart. And as you breathe, invite your shoulders to relax, your face to relax, your chest to expand, your lungs to expand. And with gratitude, you are actually activating cells in your heart. So they're turning their lights on with the gratitude frequency. And then direct that energy from your heart center to your head, heart to head, heart to head. As everything comes into harmony, take that energy and breathe it throughout your entire body. It is an energy of coherence. You can breathe it throughout your body, mind, spirit, and emotions, your four directions. And if you have any left over, breathe it out your heart and offer it up into the quantum field to be used by anybody who chooses to scoop it. Mother Earth always likes it. As you continue to breathe, I'm going to go to Earth and Sun. And with these gongs, you can connect to the Earth Star chakra beneath your feet. Plug in. Extending an extension cord out of your root chakra. And once you plug in, Mother Earth's energy comes up through your entire body and out your head. And then your Soul Star chakra above your head, as represented by Grandfather's Sun, you plug into that one. And his energy comes down through your chakra system and out your root. And this is connecting heaven and earth. If you ever need extra energy, this is where you go. So everybody take a deep breath and come on back into your body and into your room. You guys all sound really good. So as a sound healer, what I'm doing is listening to all of you. And you sounded good.
Well, you know what? My cat is sitting right here beside me.
Yeah.
Another cat.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as you started playing, he came in and he's just sitting here, just purring his head off. He was like looking at the wall, listen, like trying to get closer to the vibration, I guess. And he just, I was petting him the whole time that you were doing that. It felt so soothing. Yeah. And I actually felt, I have a really like messed up neck from a car accident that I was in. Mm-hmm. And while you were doing that, I like all my tension's gone. I kept doing this and I was rolling around. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Even over technology,
yeah.
It's amazing how effective this stuff is.
Yeah.
And any of you who come visit Hot Springs is even more fun in the gong room.
There you go. So, friends, thank you so much for joining us today. As I said, this is Jodi Roberts. Her link is in the chat. Please go show her some love. She is absolutely phenomenal. And we are so happy that you came to visit Dozen Cats. I hope that you will come back again.
Oh, yeah. Soon, this was great. Thank you.
All right. Linda says, thanks, Jodi. Tears first, then came a little more calm.
Yeah. Tears are good. My work with the medicine wheel, I used to do tons of homework assignments that I was given by my teachers. And the medicine wheel and Mother Earth taught me that tears are the most sacred water on this planet. And I agree. We need to cry a little more often.
Absolutely. It's cleansing. It's cleansing, friends. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Jodi. I mean, honestly, what a treat. Friends, thank you so much, everybody, for being here. I'll be back on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern time for my One Step at a Time segment. And I will be doing a little road trip. I'm not going to tell you where. It's a surprise. We'll be going for a little walk. And of course, we'll do some tarot on the go. So I hope that everyone can tune in. And then Wednesday, we have Dream Detective Kate coming to examine our dreams and help us with a great sleep hygiene routine. And I'm working on something for Friday. And then next Sunday for Sunday Connections, we have Adrian from Red Lentil Healing coming for some chakra information and some mini reads. So stay tuned. Make sure your bell notification is ticked off. Please give us a thumbs up and show my friend Jodi some love. And until we see each other again, I wish you many blessings. Mwah.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Everyone.